I've had a lot of negative things happen to me by being different, but that is the part that I thank God for. That I did walk towards it. At the first time I did feel different about something, I didn't say, all right, I'm not never doing that, I'm not thinking that again. That I did keep being curious. That I did listen to another rock song. That I did do another EDM record. That I didn't, that I did things that I wanted to do, and it took me so long. I went through a lot. I went through a long period of my life. Came on people think the way you're supposed to do things. That's why I went to prison, to be honest.
Welcome to the Powerful One podcast, episode 33 with Angel Hendrixx. And if you're new to the channel, let me give you a little bit of insight on what the Powerful One podcast is all about. Powerful One is all about the idea of dividing from conformity, going against the grain, and following a passion, a purpose in life, creating success for yourself in your own terms. And Angel Hendrixx has absolutely done that in his life. Angel is a multi-genre musical artist and aspiring actor from East Baltimore. Angel recently released his new co-album titled Elegance, streaming on all platforms. Angel truly fell in love with music and performing in the past couple of years, and music is what his life revolves around and everything he sacrifices for. And in this episode, Angel and I talk about growing up with conformity, incredible stories from Angel's childhood, growing up being very different from everyone else. We talk about Angel's time in prison, his shift from making music and battle rapping to truly falling in love with music and performing. We talk about learning from his mistakes and using those to propel forward. We talk about the work that goes into becoming powerful in who you are, living for yourself. He talks about being a father, and finally, he gives his major life advice for everyone. So here it is, guys, episode 33 with Angel Hendrixx.
And it's crazy because, like I said, I've watched the podcast and listened to the show, and it's amazing and all that, and how you bring yourself across, and just how it looks powerful. And they're like, damn, you just set that shit up right here real quick.
Yeah, dude.
And we ready to rock and roll.
We're ready to rock.
Yeah, and we talked we didn't talk like 2 hours, but it's like, hey, shit is going down now, it's rocking.
Yeah, so if you guys are listening right now, me and Angel, we probably talked for like 2 hours before this, and that could have been a podcast on its own, but I'm super blessed to be here with Angel Hendrixx today. He took time out of his day to do this podcast, so I'm super grateful for that. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed, man. I'm trying to stay that way. How you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. So me and Angel connected, how long's it been? Maybe like less than a month, dude.
3 weeks like that.
3 weeks ago, and we met at the gym, and like his energy is just, it spoke to me. He's vibrating up here, if you're watching on the video, and like I just felt that, and we connected, and we were talking about the podcast, but then it just got deeper. We started talking about a bunch of other things, and he had a lot of similar ideas from kind of the idea of the Powerful One podcast, which is, dividing from the conformity, like creating your own path, and getting deep and focused with your passion and what you do. So yeah, man, let's just we'll start from the beginning, bro, and we can go from there.
Okay.
And just kind of hit everything.
I kind of want to piggyback off the podcast too, just because I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah.
As you know, it's my first one. Hey, this is a lot more laid back than radio, honestly. Radio is a little more pressure to say something because you in a build and all that. Like, we can post up anyway. I kind of like that. But it being about not conforming to norm, I just feel like that was my life at times. And it should be glamorized to not conform to norm, but I've seen the pros and the cons of it, of not wanting to be norm.
Yeah.
Because it's treated different. It's not wanting to conform or not wanting to do what the masses or people that look like you may do.
Yeah.
Can be met different ways. So when I was younger, I naturally felt different in different areas. But I could probably name like one where it was like this weird shit, like, okay, food. I would ask for pickles at the mall, right? You know the little pickles that come in a jar?
Yeah.
I asked for pickles, right? I take all the pickles out. I drank pickle juice and need salt in it.
Oh, wow.
Mother couldn't stand it. She was pissed. I was literally throwing the pickles away. I hate pickles. I ain't never had them on no burger, nothing. But I like pickle juice when I was younger. sports are real. I never watched a professional sports game until I was like 19 years old. Like I went to like all high school and everything. Like when people were really into sports and stuff, I never really was. Yeah. So in every area of life, I have seen be treated different ways.
Yeah.
And I guess you say how you met me. I say how I met you. You were different at just how you were vibrating as far as like just how welcoming you were to me. You know what I mean? It's you know, we look different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, man, you had honest eyes. You were very still stern, but just driven and like focused. And you know, some people end up collecting items, or some people collect cars. You got people go to the gym like us, but I'm really into focus. I like it. I feel like for so long in my life I did not have it.
Yeah.
I didn't really have. I had structure, but more like in a don't do the wrong thing structure.
Yeah.
So that broke quick. You know, that was easy to break and start doing, you know, the wrong things and all that. But focus is attractive to me, and not like, no, I'm always like that or nothing, but like it's something that pulls me in. Like, man, they focus.
Yeah.
You don't see that a lot, even at my age. But you're younger than me, and it's wild that you can be focused like that. And you know, that was how you say vibration. That's actually Tommy word. I did not say vibration until I met Tommy. But yeah, man, let me know that you was cool. Like I said, I never did a podcast, and when I do interviews, it's like strictly about music. I've answered personal questions, but it don't really get too deep.
Yeah.
And what I realized, I ain't really have to tell nobody either. I think they can just tell.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very it's a business approach I take to it, and you know that's different. I've done interviews with people, and you know, they ain't never say like it was born or nothing, but it was more like, you know, they would say like you're reserved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think, like, unless I had to, I was like in the same space with people like I have been. I've been in the same space with people where I couldn't control who it was. But besides that, I ain't never talked to nobody that I've known for the short amount of time that we have.
Yeah.
As long as we just did. And what we were able to talk about and all that, we should be talking about now, I guess.
No, it's good. I'm glad you touched on that, because like what I want to know, and I think what's cool about this platform is like people see the focused Angel Hendrixx, but they don't see like how you got there, and they don't see like the raw stuff of kind of like what you had to go through, or kind of the other things to get to that side, to get to, you know, where you're at now. And so we'll talk about focus a lot, but let's talk a little bit, we'll backtrack and just talk about like how you grew up, and a little bit more like you were saying with like the pickle juice, like a little bit more of the ways where you kind of maybe felt a little bit isolated, and just a little bit more on how you grew up, and we can kind of go from there, and we'll definitely absolutely get into the focus and stuff like that.
I was isolation. That's a word that stuck out when you just said it, because I became comfortable with isolation fast. You know, I lived with my mother and my stepfather growing up. I was really close to my grandmother until 13, but she passed. But I wasn't really born in the kind of household where like you did stuff with your parents. You know, I grew up good. I had everything I needed. You know, I was provided for. But I can't remember like, you know, sitting down and eating with my parents, or we had a favorite restaurant or something, or, you know, something that, I don't know, things I see as I grew up, like people had with their parents, like I really didn't have that. And I was the only child. So, just what I think that everything I watched on TV, I watched everything from MASH to every kind of movie. Like, I mean, I was 4 years, I remember like 4 years old watching Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Sean Connery movies. Like I remember just watching them and watching these people and finding something from all of them, being like, I like that, I like that, I like that. And I wasn't really around people a lot. That's what I kind of realized. I wasn't really around people a lot. And then when I was around them, it was more like you knew you had to act away. Like I was telling you while we was talking, a lot of things that I like that's different, or a lot of things that people tell me, like, yo, you different. Like, I didn't know that. I don't even be knowing it's different.
Yeah.
It's like, it's literally what I like. And like I said, I've encountered that so much in my life. I remember, I'm from Baltimore City, but I moved to Sedonia when I was like 12 or 13 years old or something like that. And the first friend I met name was Ryan Marshall. Ryan Marshall, he lived 2 doors down from me. You know, Ryan was white, but that was my man. Like, I liked Ryan. So Ryan wrestled. He took me to this little wrestling gym with like all these kids in there. He like, man, you gotta sign up for wrestling. Like, I'm telling you, you should sign up for it, whatever. And I remember being ridiculously excited. You know, and they give you a little don't tell me. Is it called a singlet?
Yeah.
I remember. All right, it's called. So they gave me a singlet that I could like take home, and I remember coming home, like, Mom, look, I'm on the wrestling team, and I remember her face. I remember. I think it registered more when I got older. I remember this like feeling of not disapproval, but like, yo, wow, like that's weird. And sometimes when you do things, even when you're young, you're reacting to things that you know that happened, even if you don't say it to yourself. I believe in the subconscious. I think it's really our brain that works when we chilling. Like your peripheral vision, I think that is powered by your subconscious. I think like when you can feel something ready to come, that gotta be, even for a split second, a 0.5 second, you gotta like feel it somewhere. That's your subconscious to me. That brain is always moving.
Yeah.
I knew my mother did not approve of me wrestling, so I never wrestled. I'll get into how I grew up, but fast forward, I tried to play basketball in high school. And I remember always walking, you know, basketball and wrestling on the same season.
Yeah.
And I always remember walking past the wrestling room and just getting this feeling. I don't know what the feeling was. Or I didn't know. I have categorized it, but I don't, it's my, I ain't patented it, it's just mine, y'all can have it. But I called it like, it was like, it was an aura of something trying to tell me. Like, yo, like, you should probably try that. Like, you should probably try it. But I didn't, because nobody in there looked like me. And everybody that looked like me played basketball. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
Nobody in my family was musically inclined that I ever found. Like, nobody was really into music. I love Michael Jackson, man. People are fans of songs, and so am I. But my passion is in the performance. Yeah, I like the whole show.
Yeah.
I have an appreciation for lyrics, you know, and everything. But I also have an appreciation for song building and production and what you wear while you perform, and you know what's in the background of your video. Like, I like the details, and Mike did not miss a detail. So I remember growing up and my cousins met my homeboy, Donovan. And I had forgot this. I didn't know I did this, but Andre is like 20 years older than me. He's like 40, 50 something. And him and Donovan had developed a rapport on their own. And he was like, man, he was always going to perform. When he was young, we used to sit on the porch and wait. He was like 7. He used to come outside with his red Michael Jackson jacket on, and he would perform for us, yo. He was like, no, but he would do it like all week, but like the people standing outside. I never remember that.
Wow.
I never even, when the thing is, I know Andre not lying, because I know that the first stage I felt like in my life was my grandmother's porch. By the way it was built, it was on these high steps, and it was this all brick, like reddish porch, and like this gate thing went around it. So every time I walked on it and I was able to look over it, like I would envision a crowd. So growing up, I liked performers, and I liked them in all areas of life. So by the time I did know how to, I guess, interact with people like on my own, nobody kind of talked. Like, I ain't never get a birds and the bees talk. I can't remember one time growing up that I was told, okay, in this situation, this is how you handle yourself.
Wow.
I was never told that. Life showed me all of that. And like I said, just that by being different is a gift and a curse, so is that. because there's some things I got to experience organically because nobody showed me how.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that I shouldn't experience organically because nobody showed me how.
Sure.
So, that was a lot of growing up for me. Those mistakes that ultimately mold you. Mistakes do mold you. I mean, so do triumphs, but a triumph to me, believe it or not, is a shorter process than a mistake than a triumph. Because if you just win off the bat, that's fine. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But just like all the money in the world don't last forever, like no win does either.
Yeah.
And if you just win from the jump, does it mean as much? I mean, to me, it doesn't mean as much if you ain't do it wrong first.
Sure.
So a lot of things growing up, I did the wrong way to learn to do it right. And I grew up, like I said, at that time, I wasn't really around a lot of people. And then I was 12, 13 years old. I had went to Massachusetts Military Academy. 13, 14 years old. Got into some trouble. And I was 14 years old and I got sent to Woodstock, Virginia, to Massachusetts Military Academy. And they picked you up in these nice cars, like town car limos. They picked you up, and it was me and like 7 other kids. So like 7 of us, we all get like 3 different cars. So we pull up, and I remember like riding to the gate, like seeing it this big place. Like, man, it's like anything I can compare it to, like the X-Men mansion, like you know, like fucking Charles Xavier shit.
Yeah.
Huge. And but it's these kids standing out there at they're at ease, and they got bags in front of them. I can see them like on the ground. So I'm like, all right, well, so we get out, and like when we walk in front, like, man, take your clothes off, put them in the bag. It's like, what? Like, we laugh, but then like when we realize we laughing, like they not laughing. Like, they're not laughing. Now, mind you, I've been sit here, so like, you know, they got some of my rights kind of. So, you know, eventually that's what I do, and I open the gate, and I remember like being nervous, like, man, I'm about to walk through here. And when I tell you, I'm walking through, and some people ain't even paying me no mind. Like, it was like a regular day there. Nobody really stared at me no kind of way. Somebody looked at me regular, like I was fully clothed.
Yeah. That's
when I realized, like, all right, everybody's been through this. Everybody's done it. Massanutten was where I kind of learned person-to-person interaction. I mean, people would probably say they learned it earlier. And again, you know, I wasn't around a lot of cousins or even had a lot of like little friends or nothing like that. Like I wasn't that kind of kid. That just had like people around a lot. The space and the isolation and all of that kind of raised me.
Yeah.
So when you in space and you in isolation, but you got a TV right there, you watch it. Yeah. And you start to idolize these people, and some of your ideals come from it, because those are the situations that you know. I remember being young, and I remember I used to watch like everything, fucking Beverly Hills Cop, like everything with Eddie Murphy, like everything. Even not just Beverly Hills Cop, but like even young Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, I really liked Eddie Murphy, like just everything about him. And Eddie Murphy Raw is like a popular sitcom that a lot of people know. At least my generation. You're a little younger than me, Tom. My generation, they know Eddie Murphy Raw, and like he's known for like this iconic leather suit that he wore for the stand-up. You know, all the comedians had a stand-up where it's like kind of legendary. Pryor, everybody, and they usually wear a leather outfit. If you notice, Vern Tellett, like go notice, Cat Williams, all of them have one way there, all leather outfit. Richard Pryor did it too, but Eddie kind of, you know, glamorized it. But he had this leather outfit on, all leather, and Eddie Murphy always did this. The sleeves was always up like this. Always. You wouldn't believe how many times growing up I was always told, why you get sleeves like that? You're a geek. Why you do that? I mean, young, like always. I would always do that. But when I was walking through Massachusetts Military Academy, everybody had their sleeves up like that. Yep, everybody did. So that's something I noticed. I forgot when we was talking, but yeah, I remember that. When I remember that. I used to love, even my mother would be like, why do you always do that to your sleeves? Why do you always pull your sleeves up? And I think it's because of the people I seen on TV. I think it was just like the actors and how they move and like their mannerisms and all that. I think that subconsciously, because I've never like I said, I've been asked to act like 3 times, and like by people that really act, like people that really take the craft seriously. And I guess I never take it seriously when they ask, but when I think about my life and like, you know, how I was kind of raised and like things I remember, a lot of it ain't about people. A lot of it's about like being by myself and like looking at something, watching a movie, and then like maybe something happened in my life that mirrors that. And you know, that was my childhood for real. Entertainment kinda. It was I was gonna perform in some way or another. You know what I mean? Even hopefully, you know, luckily it was this is good, but some kind of way. And you have artists and all different, you know, you got people that rob banks for museums and try to get painting for $1 million. Maybe that's an art form. So I was going to perform. It's just good that it was music. But I really think that it's because of the time to myself that really made me tap into that.
Dude, I like that, man. I'm glad you shared that, and then even that part that I had missed from before. But you know, it's just so interesting. Like as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, here you are at Mass Nutton, like military academy, and you're walking through this hall with no clothes on other than like underwear
and t-shirt,
and nobody's looking at you.
Nobody.
But here on the other hand, you know, you roll your sleeves up, all of a sudden you're looked at. So it just goes to show that all these meanings that we attach to this stuff, to like, you know, conformity, nonconformity, it's all made up. You know, it's like whether it's cool, whether it's not cool, whether you should do it, shouldn't do it, it's all just made up from your different surroundings. And so, you know, it's interesting to be able to like step out of that and realize like the way you were conditioned, the way I was conditioned, the way everybody's conditioned, and like see what meanings you attach to certain things. Like now you have this singlet that you brought home, and the meaning attached to that is, oh, I can't wear this because you know I'm not allowed to, like, some, you know. So it's interesting, man, hearing you talk about all that stuff and just thinking about the different ways of like conformity and how none of it makes sense in terms of like there's no right and wrong. You know what I mean?
It's
just
not.
Yeah.
You know what? I just realized this, Tommy. That's what they scared of. I think that that's what so many people who are so hard to go after maybe something that they even maybe want, but because of how somebody may feel, they may not, or why a person with certain views can't conform to something else, because I think it's the fear. I've been thinking this all this time, and I could have really did it any way I wanted. And it takes a powerful person to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody can't do that.
Right. Yeah, and that's the one thing that's so unique about like your journey is like I see where you're at now, and I'm very like inspired and like want to exchange energies and like hear your story, and it's so cool, like, you know, and we talk about this, but you're 31 now, and like the self-awareness and the drive and the focus that you have is awesome. But it's like, you know, being able to get people to step out of that fear, like, you know, caring about what people think is just this crazy thing that we have, man, that like when you can kind of step out of that and realize that like nobody, like, this is your life, dude. Yeah. It's like I say it all the time, like all those time you spent in isolation, like you're the only person you'll ever spend 100% of time with. Like you got to be looking out for yourself, man. You got to figure out what you enjoy, what gets you up in the morning, what energizes you, you know. And it's a hard thing. I think you're so right on that fear notion that you just mentioned. 100%, dude.
I think that that's so true, man. And I think that it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like I said, I love the way the show. I love the way the show, you know, tells that's a power. It's a power to wake up and want to be in your thoughts with you having all these things to look at and come up with an idea that isn't yours. It's we spend most of the time with ourselves, but we listen to everything else. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird when you say it like that, because you don't realize that you know, I probably wouldn't have my answers like, so who you around the most? I'd probably said something else, but it is you, and it takes a strong individual just to want to do what you want to do.
Dude, that was so well said, man. I got the chills when you said that. Like just being a powerful person and like being able to, because when you're conditioned, like even it sounds like you said like you grew up and were raised a little bit by like TV, movies where you're thing and stuff like that. But it's like one way or another, you're taught how to think it. So when you are alone with your thoughts, it's like really it's so hard to be powerful and like who you are and like step out of that, because you know everything up until your life is kind of steering you the other direction. I mean that was so well said, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So going off that, go ahead. You know.
About caring about people would think. Yeah, I wasted a lot of time doing that, and it's more dangerous than people think. You know, it's glamorized to tell someone real quick, you know, hey, listen, just don't care what people think. You know, do your thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what you should do, but let's just think about it real quick. Like, well, You know, this is all I see. What if all you see is somebody doing it this way? And all you have is your thought that you want to be different. But, you know, it takes heart to go get that evidence. I believe everybody probably thinks that I should do something a different way.
Yeah.
But something stops them between that and doing it. And it could be just simple things as they never seen nothing else different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is it. I've had a lot of negative things happen to me by being different, but that is the part that I thank God for. That I did walk towards it. At the first time I did feel different about something, I didn't say, all right, I'm not never doing that again. That I did keep being curious. That I did listen to another rock song. That I did do another EDM record. That I didn't, you know, that I did things that I wanted to do, and it took me so long. I went through a lot. I went through a long part of my life, came on people think the way you're supposed to do things. That's why I went to prison, to be honest. It isn't in my nature to do anything that I was doing when I was getting in trouble today or within the last 3 or 4 years. It isn't really even in my nature. It isn't even if you told me, hey, you can make all the money in the world if you do this, but here are the risks, and I'll give you everything to do it. You don't gotta like say, you know, say I had to go through what I had to need what I need to do what I do, and it just was given to me, I still wouldn't want to do it. There's always some people out there that understand exactly what I just said.
Yeah,
but
I completely.
Okay, but because I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man, I can remember. I can remember feeling like this. I knew when I was never going to prison again. One day I was sitting in the day room. Some people might know what the day room is. If you don't, the day room is like the common area for like the tier. The tier is where everybody's housed at, and the day room common area where people sit, they play cards, they watch TV, all in the same 400 square feet. So I remember just sitting around one day listening to all these people talk and interact. And I said to myself, I might have mouthed it too, I don't know. I might have said it underneath my breath, I have no idea. I was like, I don't fucking belong here.
Wow.
I was like, I don't belong nowhere near here. Now, the reason why I had to do that and realize that in prison is because I ignored it all the other times I told myself. I sat around and let it happen. I stayed there. I stayed around somebody I shouldn't have been around. I had a homeboy that was cool for a while, but look, he ain't the same person I met when I met him. But when he changed, I let him and I stayed around him. Different is different. You gotta be brave to be different. You gotta be brave to be truthful right now. A lot of people, the truth is so glamorized. The truth is the truth. We all want the truth. We all want the truth. And even you don't want the truth until you get it is glamorized. But even more than that, we want what we want to hear for the most part. And them. I will talk about this as a human race. I feel like it's more people that do that don't.
Yeah.
But as humans, I know so many people that take either the route of the way I've seen it work, or what I've been told or seen works. There's a third way to go. What do you think?
Wow.
What you think? Do you think you should do it, or you? My first project, my first album I ever put out was 2 years ago. Is called Genre, streaming everywhere now. It stands for Gangsta, Electric, New Wave, Rhythm and Blues, and EDM. And this was probably 10 years in the making. You know what I mean? I really got to, that's why I put out a part 2 to it too, but after my latest project, Genre 3, that I'm working on next, it was when I got to create and I was totally free. I was able to just say what I wanted, and even though by that time when I was recording Genre, if you sat me down in the room, I would tell anybody, like, no, I don't people think no more like I'm changed or whatever. I went through times in the studio. I was like, man, should I do this? Like, should I really put this kind of record out? Like Genre comes on with a straight EDM record, like straight fist pump, all that.
Yeah.
And you know, that is so far from my actual world. I've never been to a festival in my life. You know why I'm able to do a song like that? Because I want to be around stuff like I've always wanted to. And but again, I don't. Now I do. Now you do something black people, but I don't know where I would have went. I don't even know how to find them. But anyway, I know I've envisioned myself in that atmosphere so much that I was able to go in the studio and make, I didn't realize that until right now, I was able to go in the studio and like make a song like you're in there.
Wow.
And I've never experienced it before, but I've always wanted to. But you know, rave ain't the most urban shit. I mean everything from rock records or like whatever I'm doing, it's always a risk. You know, if you care about what people think, and I'm flawed, you know, I would like to say I care about what certain people think, but you know, as artists, as anybody that puts out something that you work hard on, and as hard as I work, like, you know, there are levels to doing everything, like just how I say how your presentation is good and how everything has levels of what you want to do, and to at least be seen that you could be on the highest one, it takes discipline and work and sacrifice and everything. And to do all that, to do all the discipline, and then think like, all right, this is really different from anybody in my world that's probably get ready to mess with it. Like anybody's gonna say, I'm about to listen to Angel stuff. At least years ago, now it's different. But when I first put it out, first started, years ago, everybody was around. I never heard them listen to an EDM song. Everybody was around. I never heard them listen to a alternative rock record or a you know, other stuff I was doing. I never heard them listen to anything but rap. But I didn't tell anybody nothing about genre either. I really didn't tell anybody. I didn't promote nothing. I just knew I was going to be working on the project. I knew I was going to do it the right way. At a good studio, and I was going to do all that. And you know, out of genre, it was 10 records. Three was played on the radio. Got me on TV. Everything, and everyone through that process kept saying the same 2 words at some point. It's different. It's different. It's different. So, like I said, it's a fear, but I'm fearless when it comes to that because nobody can tell me that it's anything wrong with different.
Yeah, man.
Different keeps the world moving.
Yeah.
Every innovator, everything that evolves, it's a different somewhere in it. You just gotta find they did something different. They did something that wasn't the norm at that time.
Man, that was such a powerful story. That was so well said. And I know that's like been a lot of your past. Like I know you mentioned like even like rollerblading when you were younger, listening to different types of music.
Oh, what? Yeah. I grew up in like deep East Baltimore.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so you got Down the Hill. I don't know if you ever heard that statement before. But okay, so it was a club back in the day. You're young. Yeah, you're young. So like, okay, there's a club that's like, what you know about Down the Hill? Some people may know that if they're old enough. And it's like really popular in Baltimore. So I grew up the hill in a setting called the Valley that they call. But my father's side of the family, he lived down the hill all the time. So eventually I always would travel down there. So I'd be up and down. And you know, back when I was younger, it was bikes. You know, everybody got bikes, like BMX bikes, and they put like tricks on the back, and you know, that's what they did back in the day. But I loved to rollerblade for real. My love of rollerblading came from White Man Can't Jump. Movie with Wesley Snipes.
Yes. I see. I do know that. At least.
I was ready to say, you got to know. But remember, he used to rollerblade with Rosie Perez's character a lot, and you know, I liked it. And first time I put a pay on, I remember watching a movie called Brink and all the movies with the rollerblade. I used to like watch that on the Disney Channel to find them, tape them, because like they would come on at somebody else's house, and I knew how to tape at anybody's house. I was taping over mothers shows they like, and then still in the tape so I could have Brink. Like, yeah, it was crazy, but it was always looked at different. Yeah, you know what I mean? To a point where sometimes I didn't want to rollerblade. So that's what I'm saying. Well, my breakthrough, that's what I call it. Everybody's supposed to know that's what I call it. My breakthrough. People call it different things. Some people say, man, all right, one day just stop giving a fuck. Like, nah. My breakthrough at one day was like, I'm gonna just try to do what I think is right for one. What I think will progress me is 2. But also what I want to do. You know what I mean? I do believe in the fundamentals of, okay, like, let's do things where you'll be okay, you know, where you're able to, you know, sustain the quality of life that you want. But yeah, I made a promise to myself a couple years ago, like, listen, when it comes to somebody else's mold of whatever, of course I follow the law, I'll be a citizen and everything, but I can't follow nobody else way no more because this time we got here is limited. And on the tombstone, it don't put your quality of life on there. It don't put the good years you had. It don't put you was up then and you was down this year. No, it's just a date, a hash, and a date. Only people that go, only person in the memories is you. So if you don't got them, or when you get ready to go, everything you can say you did is what you learned and you saw. All right, that's cool. But if you lay down and you have any doubts about what you probably should have done, you wasted it. You know what I mean?
That's incredible. That's exactly what I was gonna get at, was where that, and I like to use the word breakthrough also.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna get at, was like, when was that breakthrough? So what was that exact experience that it was the breakthrough, that day you said, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I want to do it. I'm gonna do it for me. And you had all these realizations. What do you remember the exact incident? Do you remember the example, or at least an example that was very like pivotal, very breakthrough moment for you?
Yeah. I had friends that like I grew up with that like when I young, I've known for like a long time, like 20 years that I've known. And I just realized one day that I wasn't really normal. I didn't grow up normal. I didn't grow up the worst, but I wasn't really normal. The things I've seen, the things that I've done, I started to put into perspective. And I was like, man, like some of this shit is kind of bad. Like, what you doing? You know, you tripping. Or why did you? I think it's because of my daughter. I think seeing her innocence. Just, I've been in my daughter's life since she was 4. She's 12 now. And it took a couple years to even realize it. But, I would say I fell in love with my daughter around, I guess she was like 9, 8. But I felt like, I was kind of needed in her life. And everything that happens to a child, it's different when you see it. Or every emotion they go through, or every time she's about to cry. I think over time that shit like kind of got me, like how to break me down a little bit. Not in a bad way, but just made me start looking at things like not just being so like, all right, yo, what you want in that moment, because that's what a lot of the evil comes from that's in this world. Some of it comes from just doing what you want to do at that time and not really thinking of the consequences. But one day I did, and I thought about me being irresponsible, not driven, not disciplined how you see, and just wasting my life. And I didn't want to blame anything. I didn't want to blame anybody, but I did start to just look around and say, okay, you got to change some shit. But why did it go on for this long? And I am a firm believer, I wasn't before, but who you around does not dictate the end of your story, but it is part of your journey. And who you around and how they hold you accountable and what they instill in you and the kind of energy they give you is important in life. It's very important. And I have realized one day, like, wow, I was never really around anybody that just set me. Now, people did it in a way, like, your mother yells at you, cuss at you like it, or your brother, your uncle, somebody, more man, you're fucking up. That's how you get it in my culture.
Right.
That's how you get it in my culture. Also in my culture, you either got them or you don't. Most people, when they old and they taking care of kids and paying bills, know that they are who they are. They working. I totally understand how difficult it probably would be for my parents to probably be different how they was with me, trying to take care of a child. You know what I mean? If that was your motto and what you seen when you was growing up, it wasn't in the Black community. And when I was growing up, mental health wasn't nothing or like, let's make sure these kids are happy with themselves. It was no, they want to put clothes on their backs, make sure they go to school. This will work itself out. And I realized that it wasn't a lot of accountability in my life. That I didn't have it, and that it wasn't all their fault. It started with me, but I needed to get it, even if that started with just me. Accountability started everything for me, and I realized that to truly be accountable for myself, I would have to do it. So why the hell should I care about what anybody else is thinking of?
Wow.
And not in bad ways, like not, saying like, I don't listen to anything or hear what people say. But if it doesn't make my soul happy, if it doesn't set my soul on fire, if I'm not passionate about it, it's a hard pass to me. And there's nothing against it, but it's just not my thing. That started it, just my daughter. My daughter, and loving her because I love that little girl. And when I watch her and the things that she do and just how like, when she doing stuff, she don't see it. She doesn't see it like an adult. She doesn't see it. Oh my goodness. One day, Tony, man, I'm laying in the bed. My daughter came in there with her blanket. She gets in the bed, she got her blanket. The blanket's like this little silk thing. Like that thing on that couch, but like smaller. And she just blows her nose in the blanket. right next to me. And she blows her nose, doesn't get up, ball part of the blanket underneath, lay back down on the blanket. So I am fucking disgusted. I am disgusted. I'm like, Zanaya, what are you doing? Why would you do that? But then it dawned on me like, hold up, she did that too comfortable. She does this. So I think all the time I was laying on her bed with us. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, put it out there with the laundry, whatever. So I said, why do you do that? And she was like, it's a cloth. I was like, well, no, I was like, it's a blanket. She was like, but it's made out of, and I forgot what she said. And I was like, well, how do you know that? She's like, it's right here. It's the same thing that the cloth's made out of. I was like, oh. I was like, we'll never do that again. But I understood her thinking. I understood that to her, she may have seen every person blow their nose into something small. But there's something that kind of resembles it. She wants to blow her nose. She didn't really go with what she thought, whatever. And that innocence at times, it's a freedom in that. And we can, of course, we can't be children, but doing what you want to do, what I learned and what ultimately made me know that because they're not holding me accountable, I got to do it. If I'm going to do it, I got to do it my way. And also, have an innocence with it. Go into everything with an open heart. Go into everything that you have a little interest in. Go into it with open arms. And I started doing that with everything, except people. I didn't do it with people. But I was doing it with every experience in my life. I was like, all right, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do now? What do you want to do now? You just stop hanging with all your friends. You don't got no friends now. So what you want to do? And it was still music.
Man.
You know, I did music a while for attention, I think. And I think maybe recently, like 4 years ago, I fell in love with making music. And I'm blessed because a lot of people don't really get that second chance how I did, to be able to do it and to have, you know, people want to hear it and stuff like that. I'm never oblivious to that. You know what I mean? It still messes me up. Like I'm in a mall, I was out Towson one, I never forget this story. I was out Towson, and this dude's looking at me, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him. And he's like walking towards me, I'm walking towards me, walking towards him. He's like, hey man, your name Angel? And I was like, yeah, but I'm mugging by the time my mug is broke down. And that's just what you think you're supposed to do. Man, in my culture, for some reason, man, it ain't slick to just walk up to somebody with a welcome face and just give them a handshake. You gotta know them, you gotta mug first, you gotta let them know. So I'm mugging, he's mugging me, I'm mugging me. And he's like, your name Angel? I said, yeah. He said, man, I like that song, you got 100 grand, man. I heard it in downtown locker room. I was like, oh. That never gets old. Like that.
Wow.
Now that's happened maybe like 10 times. I've been in an Uber before. And my songs came on, I tapped the Uber and say, that's my song. And they looked at me like I'm fucking lying. But I've had that before. Never get used to that. Never. But none of that happened when I was battle rapping or like doing things that I thought you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
None of that started happening for me until I started doing what I was passionate about. All right, so you want to do it. I call it the EDM song I'm talking about. I describe it as jazz to a fist pumping song. I say, I want to do a fist pumping song. He was like, okay, all right. Jizz knew what I meant because he knows me.
Yeah.
So he played the urge, and I was like, yes, like that. That's what I was like. How'd you know? He was like, I knew that. He was like, man, to be honest, that's you. And he said that so much. So like all these things can't be me. It got to be like, all right, boy, you're just different now. Yeah. So once I got to a point where I could embrace it, I seen nothing but good things happen. So then it became addictive.
Wow.
Not to where I'm jumping out there trying to be different, but that like, all right, I'm in tune with my thoughts. I'm in tune with what I want to do. And if you are passionate, the way how my life is really structured right now, it's about my family and my music. So if I want to do it and I feel passionate about, like just like this interview, it's probably a good decision. And even if it isn't, like I said, the mistakes will always get me where I want to be because I'm going in with a whole heart. I ain't gonna fall too hard because they know I'm genuine. See, it's like this. If you bet honestly in the casino and make $10,000, okay, you get to rise up. And if you bet that 10 and you get back down to 5, yeah, you're gonna be pissed because that money gone. But now you had it before, you know how to do it. But if you count cards all the way up to 10,000 and they catch your ass, and they beat the shit out of you, and then you still don't got no money, and you never know how to do that again, you probably never gonna step foot in the casino. When you genuine and you take a chance, the chance don't feel like it's wrong. Even when you mess up, it don't feel like it. But if you're not genuine, you're taking a chance because of something you've seen or somebody else stuff, the fall down could be rougher. And the mistake gonna seem like it's not a good thing. But in reality, man, mistakes mold us. They show us. You know what I mean? You got people that also that yes, you may look at me and think, well, I don't really see them make mistakes. Well, let's see them make mistakes a lot. But you also don't see them change a lot either.
Yeah.
You also see them do a lot of different things. I have never seen repetition in life give you the moments you can't put into words. I ain't never seen that. So, not saying repetition is bad. It could be fine with people. I live for them.
Yeah.
I live for things that happen. I don't know what to say. Bad. I live for that. No. Yeah. I chase it, and being different. You have to be different to chase those. Because people ain't out there chasing them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that is an incredible perspective you have, man. You just went in. There's so much I want to pick within that, but I mean, ultimately, it just comes out. I mean, like you having that original self-awareness to do for yourself, man, is incredible. And I know that's just the first step, and everything you've been able to do, and like the stories you just told right there is powerful, man. But there's one thing I want to specifically talk about. So, like your music shift, because obviously music's what you're really, really passionate about now. It's one of the things, I guess. But talk about that shift when you were doing music before, like you said, the battle rapping, to now where you're at with your music journey. Like when did that shift of now I'm doing music because I love music and I fell in love with music? Like when did that shift happen? And then just talk about that a little bit if you don't mind. That's powerful stuff.
It was a culmination of failure and just realize, like, all right, you get into a point where if you're gonna really do this, you got to do it. How I say I fell in love with music is like the first time I ever did this song called The Forgotten. It's an EDM rap record that I did, produced by OJ's. It's streaming everywhere. But I remember when I met Jay through Instagram. I had never met him before. He said, man, I think there's a lot I can do with you, man. Just like, from I just had like rap stuff on there, like little videos, me rapping outside, a little video I did. And when I came in there and played the beat, I'm like, what the hell am I about to do with this? I don't know how to, I don't know what to say on here. Like, that's how different the beats sound. Like, it's literally an EDM rap song. And he said, man, yeah, you can. He said, just take it with you. And he said, just do what you feel. And that's what made me fall in love. Every other time I've done music, I've said something that I thought was cool, that I thought needed to be said, that I had some kind of guideline from it, because people talk about this, so I'll talk about this.
Yeah.
But when I did The Forgotten and I was able to just talk about whatever I wanted, I became addicted to that feeling. And yeah, that's how I say I fell in love with it. And I've been doing music for years before that, but I wasn't really. I hated writing. I like performing. That was because that was the most genuine part of me. Probably. That makes sense. Because that was the part where I could let loose and just, all right, you don't gotta worry about what you say or how you say it.
Yeah.
And through everything I went through, from trying to fit into a norm, from doing that and then stopping, now I had something to say. So now, like, writing's fun, or it's it's just. It's a total shift. It's like it feels different when I do music now, and I'm not the consumer, so I don't know how to look on the outside. But people always tell me, like, man, you can just tell when you got serious. And I never really know what that means. You know what I mean? Because I don't really approach it any different. I mean, I know I approach it way different, but I still like record as often or write as often as I did. It isn't like I don't go to some new bat cave, where I perform,
right.
But I guess they mean the mentality.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that happened on the song Forgotten. I hadn't been doing anything for a while, and I met Jiz. He hit me on Instagram. He brought me to this nice studio, nice little thing, nice little bat cave, and that came on. And when I first recorded, I was nervous because I'm actually writing my feelings on here. At times I'm screaming, at times I'm rapping, but no one's telling me to do it. Like, that's what I want to do on a song. That's what I want to do. Like, He ain't give me a guide. He ain't give me a guideline. He ain't say, yo, do it like this or come in like this. He say, let's take this beat and do what you feel. And it's crazy because the song is about my friends, how I feel like the forgotten. So that was that was when I fell in love with music. I was like, yo, I got something to say. I could do music, and now of course it makes it a little better that people like it a little bit. It makes it a little better that like forgotten doing good on YouTube and doing good streaming. I mean, that makes it better. It makes it easy to keep doing it, but that's the way I fell in love with it though. Yeah. Being able to be free with that song. I was able to say what I wanted, and it was like I was letting it go. It was like I was getting out what I felt to him, and I was now walking into Angel Hendrixx. Like I was now walking into him, like, you know, and yeah, hell yeah.
So to me, when I think about your story, you know, becoming Angel Hendrixx as an artist and as a man, to me it almost seems like the way I explain, I changed my name like from Tommy to Tommy, like spelling wise. And to me, there was a bunch of other shifts that happened where I categorize it as like chapter 2. I was a big move. I got out of a relationship. I changed my name. I started a new social media. Like it was kind of a new start. So like when I look at you and I see like the shift and the change where, you know, it was the battle rapping to now it's like Angel Hendrixx and I'm doing this shit because I want to do it and I'm putting this out. Like, do you look at it at all that way as almost just like a new person?
Yes. But like I said, with everything, man, there's a pro and a con.
Yeah.
Becoming a different person, which I would say like 27, maybe at 26, 27 nowadays, 28, maybe. It's hard when people have been used to you for all those years, and I lost a lot along the way. Things I was supposed to lose, but I lost a lot along the way. And I went through times not knowing what that loss would do, how that loss would affect me. It always worked, every time. With everything. I mean, I told you, even in the changing gyms, I met you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything worked because I was doing what I knew number one was right, what I knew number one was morally right, and most importantly was what I wanted. Was that a question?
Yeah, no, that was exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that was exactly right, man.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that happened for real. So.
No, dude, that was incredible, man. I'm curious off of that. Like, you have a very, very strong intuition. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
And you have like a very good sense of like understanding from what I'm saying or from what I'm hearing is like this stuff's like happening for you and like this had to happen. Like these mistakes had to happen for you to become who you are today. And like, you know, these certain things happen for you. So like, where are you at with like spirituality wise? I've heard you mention like God a couple times off air, like, whether it's just from nature, from God, like, is there anything that helps you kind of like gain a sense of groundedness in terms of like spirituality or anything like that? Or just like intuition with yourself? I'm just curious about that side of it because it's very powerful stuff.
It's, damn, I don't think I realized that until you just asked me.
By the way, I feel like we've had like mini breakthroughs as we've been talking, which is just so powerful.
Yeah, that's so wild.
It's just incredible.
I just realized what did that.
Yeah.
To be honest, Tommy, the mistakes is my. Okay, if my mom wasn't the way she was, I probably wouldn't love my daughter how I do. I probably wouldn't want to pay attention to details so much, and because I see me, and I'm like, damn, maybe somebody did that, I would have been whatever. Spiritually, I believe in a higher power. Is his name God? You know, I believe someone created me. I have a creator, and I need to worship and be thankful for him for giving me air in my lungs and making sure I live and all that. But I am so, you gotta want it. I believe in praying. You know, I've tried at times, and I've prayed at oftentimes in spurts for a while, but it always just starts with me, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. And while that is the greater power, while he is the higher power, I don't want to just say it and hope you take care of it. I want to try to do it a lot too. I get feelings, Tom, like feelings, or I'm riding down the street, my daughter say, look, there were 3 cars of the same riding back to back to back. And then she'll be like, that only happens when we with you. Like, I'm like, I just look like, yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, so I know it's something out there. I don't get too deep into it. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But I know, like, there are times when I have been in like really bad places, physically, like, you know, like prison, and you in there, yo, and you like, same thing today. I'm gonna die mentally today because I can't take this. I cannot take doing the exact same thing today. I'm gonna die mentally, and like the smallest thing gives you a pick me up right when you need it, right when you need it, because I was doing the right thing. Wasn't no games, wasn't doing nothing stupid. So the universe gave me something real quick. I believe that happens.
Yeah.
I think for every friend I lost, I gained either, if it wasn't a friend in a form, I gained something. I gained a focus. I got strong, or like because of that, or like more time to myself. Okay, so dedicated to something positive, or like, you know, like something happened, and spiritually, as long as I'm okay with me and in my heart, because I feel like at the root of I got a good heart, you know, as long as I'm doing that everything will be all right. You know, wherever I'm supposed to be when I'm going, then I'll be there. And, you know, I being organic, you know, as hard as it is not easy to sometimes just show people who we are, because we don't live in a world where everybody can walk around naked and nobody wouldn't care. No, you're constantly judged on how you look, on how you present yourself and everything. So, you know, being able to be happy with who you are is my spirituality. Me, you know what I mean? It's maybe, you know, it starts with, you know, I hope everything's fine, just, you know, but I don't get, you know, too deep in the Bibles or anything.
Right.
I'm real, like, yo, do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, just try to do the right thing. Be honorable, have integrity, and just want to do the right thing too.
Yeah, man.
Even a time when something bad happens and you get too mad, or anything happens, all right, always do the right thing in your real time thing. So even when something emotional happens, it'll get back to where it needs to get, because it's organic.
Yeah, I feel like when I hear you say that, like, I think about, like, living for yourself, and the way I see it is like living for something higher, because it's like you were given this vessel to, like, be the best, like you said, like, be compassionate, like, be just a good person. So I feel like if you're living for yourself and being a good person, that is in essence like living for God or whoever. And so I think it's cool. And then, like, going off the mistakes, man, I remember, like, when we had this conversation in the gym, you were saying, you're like, man, Tommy, like, you know, seeing where you're at is so cool. And in my head, and I remember I said it too, but I was like, Angel, man, like, it's incredible, like the mistakes, like you said, that you've made, the journey that you've had, like, has created this awesome dude that I'm, like, talking to right now. And, like, you're, like, you understanding that, and, like, me seeing that, it's just an incredible thing, man. I just, like, it's a very cool thing, just being able for you to see how your mistakes have just built this awesome person, man. And I just want to give you a lot of love on that.
No, I appreciate it. Really awesome. Definitely. I don't hear it often because I ain't around people often, but I appreciate that though. And I mean, everything in life, I think you can judge things by where the tracks. You know, and not just people do or nothing like that, but the aura they bring around, what kind of people are around them, or, you know, what they like to do, what makes them laugh and smile. You know what I mean? It tells a lot. And I always told myself that whatever, all those things are going to be the same answer. I want it to be genuine. Whatever it is. And it ain't easy, you know what I mean? The genuine people aren't invited to all the parties. But yeah, man, it's a freedom and a mental comfortability that is invaluable to me.
I think the common theme of everything you're saying, man, is that it takes work. Like, none of this stuff is easy. Like, getting to a point where you can be, like, one, doing things for yourself, two, comfortable with yourself, and just like freeing. Like you said, man, it takes bravery, it takes discipline, it takes you know, self-awareness. Like, it takes all these things, and it's just a cool thing. But like Angel's been saying, like, it's not an easy road, right?
No, not at all. It's no, it's not. It's exciting though, and it's and when you get it, and I think I'm still getting parts of it. I'll probably understand more as I get older. But when you do start living for you, your wants, your passions, the things you want to be focused on. I mean, whether you pass in the family, man, it is a fun ride, because, you know, if that guy wants to become a stunt driver, You know what I mean? And what if he never does in 20 years? He never becomes a stunt driver. What if he made it to the finals of this, and then he was in kind of this movie, he was here and there. You imagine all the good feelings he had throughout the day, throughout the way. Instead of going to work for 20 years and not liking it every day. At least while he tried to do that. I mean, all the times when he got close, remember them times, or I never forget my first ever time being on the radio. I thought I was Jay-Z. I thought it was on. I thought it was over. It's more of a grind than that. You gotta keep getting on there. But I just remember that feeling. And I remember telling myself, asking myself, like, all right, man, is it worth, like, I was like, yeah, it was worth that. It was, I think happiness is not as valued, but it is though. Everybody say you want to be happy.
Yeah.
But you'll do things that you maybe not want to. So either look away or to be where you think you're supposed to be. When, damn, man, you got your own body, you can do what you want with it. You got your own thoughts, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's incredible, man. What excites you the most about where you're at now and like going forward and just like personal journey, music journey, just life, man? Like what really excites you? Like what is something that you feel like is worth living for, whether it's a sense of hope? Like what's something that really excites you, man, about where you're at and where you're going?
Damn, I just realized how old I am when I'm about to say this. I get very excited watching my daughter grow up. I'm pretty sure it is not easy to be a parent, but it is not easy to be a step parent. It has its rewards, it has its ups, it has its downs. But I genuinely, I get amazed by her sometimes, just watching that she has a chance to do this thing right. She has a chance to go through life again, and you know, it makes me feel like I can still impact something. I could still impact something the right way, and whether it's music or whatever. But you know, watching her, you know, I'm just so excited for the person that I want her to be.
Yeah.
And you know how I want her to look at the world too. How I want her to take even more chances than I did. You know, but yeah, I'm very excited for not just that, the growth of you know, my family and my brand. I love music. I'm definitely, I mean, I'm locked in for the 2 albums, so I'm definitely ready to be doing music. But just like everybody say, getting into that ownership and that brand. And I have a few companies I'm getting ready to drop. One is a media company that will specialize in recording a lot of things with people. OnlyFans for women, music videos, documentaries, everything. It's been like a 4-year process,
Nice.
with my man. And other joint venture is an activewear line that I'm working on. And like the thing is, it's glamorized now. Everybody's doing the things that I always wanted to do. I just didn't have really the heart to. But you know, educating myself and just seeing the doors that music has opened. Yeah, man, like you told me, Tommy, when I was letting you know that sometimes I get discouraged by the time I wasted doing the wrong things, and how you get put into perspective that, man, how much time you got left. And yeah, I'm gonna take that with me, because I be having trouble sometimes remembering that. Remembering that, man. Even if you spent a little bit of time doing something that you thought was right, but it didn't fulfill you, the eternal life clock until it's over doesn't have hands on it. It just ticks.
That's wow.
Yeah, it stops. It stops when it stops. But there's no hands on it. You'll never know what time it is, or you'll never seem too late on the life clock. So as long as you still got air in your body, you know, you can do what you want to do.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. I mean, like, I just want to say personally, like, the impact you've had on me in the short time we've known each other, just as a man, has been incredible. Like, I don't even have words to explain.
Thank you, man.
The impact that you're having on your daughter. You know, being able, like, there's people like you who need to, like, when I look at people like you, I'm like, man, these are the people who need to influence the younger people and show them the way. And so the fact that you're able to do that with her is incredible. I mean, everything you've told me about her is awesome. And then even you with your music, man, being able to inspire, like, share your stories and just have a platform. You know, people connect with music on such a deep level. And,
Absolutely.
And so that's incredible, man. Where can people find you online, social media, stuff like that?
Oh, literally everywhere. I'm spelled the exact same, with the same 2 X's at the end. That's Angel Hendrixx. ANGLHENDRIXX, and that's everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, anyway you stream, you can stream my music anywhere. I just put out a collaborative album with Evie Newman called Elegance. It's streaming everywhere now, but genre 1 and 2 is out there. But yeah, man, I'm just really thankful for platforms like this. There's guidelines and everything. Even people tell you, even reality shows got scripts. So it's for this to be highlighting people that just wanna chase whatever they wanna chase, or wanna conquer whatever they wanna conquer, anything from a job to a triathlon. I appreciate platforms like this because the world needs more of it.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, dude. It takes two, man. You being a part of this is incredible to me. It's surreal for me sitting here. Like, remember the dude in the coffee shop, and Eddie, my buddy, who's probably listening, is gonna hear it. But like, we were at a coffee shop having just a deep conversation. I was like, man, more people need to hear this. And the next day I bought some equipment, started doing some BS podcasts in my bedroom, and now I'm here with you.
Wow.
Like, you taking time out of your day to do this and impact people and share your power is incredible. So I just want to thank you for that,
don't
man.
Stop. Yeah,
bro.
Stop. We're gonna this power one thing popping.
Yeah, man.
They need to know what's going on.
Awesome, bro. Last thing before we head out, it's been an amazing podcast. If you could give one more piece of advice for people, just something you've learned in life, just one core thing, piece of value, what would you say to the listeners to kind of wrap up?
What I would say, is you should live life for the words you should live life for the moments you can't put into words. You should live life for that next thing. Whatever you want that thing to be. Live life for what you want. Consider people you love and everything, but when it comes down to it, people you love, make sure they want to do in their life what they want to do. Because if you fight that, you're fighting a battle where you're going to eventually lose. And by the time you realize, it might be too late.
Wow. Incredible, man. Dude, thank you again for being a part of this, guys. Check out Angel and everything he's got going on. All the love, brother. Thank you again, man.
Always.
Thank you guys so much for making it to the end. I really appreciate your support, not only for me, not only for Powerful One, but also all the guests on this platform, and just tuning in and being inspired and being powerful, man. So, thank you again if you watched this, and, excited for the future. Excited. It's been a great year for Powerful One. Excited for everything I have coming in the future, everything with the brand, everything with my personal brand, and just everything in general. So just want to thank you guys again, and be sure to, share this if it inspired you, if it felt powerful, if you connected with it, share it with your friends, share the platform. Please go, if you don't mind, go subscribe on YouTube, go write a review on iTunes. All that stuff really means a lot. Thank you guys again, and be sure to stay tuned because every week we are coming out with a new podcast episode. Stay locked into the page, guys. Thank you. Stay powerful.